हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 जय प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपद जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय जय प्रभुपा जय जय प्रभुपा हम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we are continuing from the essence of Bhagavad Gita, sessions from essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is chapter 5, the art of self-management. So I think, previously already like 2 pages of this chapter has been completed, where Prabhupada was emphasizing like how, things are changing just due to lack of the right practice. Like, I was just reading, these previous pages, and what I found was some very interesting thing. This might have been discussed yesterday. Like, what were the problems during 1940s, 50s, 60s in the college times? Sorry, till 1980s or 1990s. So what was the problem in college times, in school days? Like talking in class, chewing gum, making noise, running in the hall, getting out of place in line, wearing improper clothes, not throwing paper in the waste bucket, dustbin, etc. But now these problems, what they have converted into: drug abuse, alcohol, pregnancy, suicide, rape, robbery, assault, and so many things. Actually, if you talk about foreign countries, then it took to even bombing and all those things. People, they in school itself, student fire. Many cases have came up in that way. So actually, who is responsible for all this? Huh? Sorry? Okay, society, modern education. Being specific, who in the society is responsible? But these things are done by the one who is getting educated. No? Modern education. Because these are the students who are going for education itself, and they are doing it. As stats, and in the previous page I read the stat, like 30% of Americans, they are not able to pass their high school exams. Why? Actually, what happens is, when they are in 5th to 10th standard, they get involved in all these things. People are selling the drugs in laboratories. Actually, this drastic change of child naughtiness to this corruption and criminality, now this has occurred in last 30 to 40 years itself. So now this moral degradation is due to so-called modern education. So this was just a recap. I was checking what we have gone through. So today we'll read from page number 129. So I'll read parawise, I'll read and I'll explain the things. Except concoction that modern man is the most evolved and civilized being, as he has the most developed in the science and technology, and that the man of ancient times lived uncultured life in jungle hunting animals with no civilization or scientific advancement. Such concocted foolish theories make the boys deny scriptures, Puranas by disposing them as mythology and feeling proud of their modern so called advancement. They are hardly aware of the fact that celestial weapons used by the Vedic man were so powered that the subtle mantras, which are like software programs keyed into microprocessing device to activate the servo motors. Depending on the input sections, the servo motor would activate linear or rotatory movement. The celestial weapon would do much more, put a hole in the leaf, every leaf the tree, pour rain, create fire, etc. So actually, here it is very wonderfully explained. Here it is very wonderfully explained. Actually, now what's happening is what we are thinking ourselves as a civilized and evolved man. And denying, like, if you talk about this scriptures and all those things, people what they say is this is orthodox mentality, this is uncultured. People earlier they used to live in jungle and all those things. But the main thing is, yesterday I was hearing a class from Gauranga Prabhu. So what Gauranga Prabhu was telling was, actually, the thing is, many, leave it, it's not needed actually. Actually, yesterday I was hearing the lecture from Gauranga Prabhu. What Gauranga Prabhu was telling, India is still better, but it's, getting degraded, but outside the situation it's very worse. And the thing is, people, trying to copy outside world. People are saying that I'm atheist, and many people you see in India. But somehow internally they are not, complete atheists. There is something internally, and they are still, something is there that they believe in the spirituality. They believe in, they believe in the God. Like people were saying, like Gauranga Prabhu just gave a simple example. And the one who called himself atheist while scratching, his head, and sometimes, oh Lord, oh God, something like, these terms people use. So when, this is, by, that is a normal behavior that's coming out actually. Normally when we are in some situation, we are stuck, automatically the name comes out is of Lord. Oh my God. So this is, Indians, they are internally spiritual and spiritualized. But in order to copy the West, we are getting degraded. And the main thing, like people, they think that this Vedas and Puranas, they are not advanced. But in actuality, these are most advanced books. And you can see many of the advancement in today's modern world, they have been copied from the Vedas. Almost everything you can say. They talk about of so much weapons, nuclear weapon, this weapon, that weapon. But we hear, like, from, since childhood we are watching Ramayana and all those things. What we see? They have so powerful, shastras, like Brahmastra, that is nuclear bomb kind of thing. Brahmastra, you just, I think this is Brahmastra only. You take the name of that person and it will go and you'll track that person and kill. Which nowadays, this is tracked missile, So these were there, huh? So many are there. So actually, these were there previously, and from there only this concept they took actually. If you see, there were many things actually, and the main thing that is degrading is just due to the lack of cultivating of their parents. So what actually Prabhupada says is the main instruction that is not given to the student at their young age is to maintain the celibacy. I'll write exact line. Are not given instructions in celibacy, rather religious instruction on refraining from illicit sex are considered superstitious or dogma and meant for weakling. Not for courageous, boisterous youth, modern medical teachers openly make propaganda that sex is not all that bad. Indeed, everyone should be given freedom of speech and expression. Thus, authenticated by the top people, the demonic youth cultivate nescience with great vigor. By avoiding illicit indulgence in sex, one attain purity, memory, wisdom, concentration, retention power, vichara shakti, power of inquiring, dharana, power of grasp, good health, vigor, strength, determination, discrimination, and peace of mind, self-confidence, cleanliness, and many other similar subtle qualities. By free indulgence, one loses all these finer qualities. Very important, actually. See, I was just reading. Actually, many of my have you read in Srimad Bhagavatam when this creation was taking place. So Brahma was given the duty. Now you have to evolve this creation. You have to, he was given this responsibility to create. And in order to create, now you need to have, population. He needs to increase this population. So he got his 10,000 children in the first phase. And he told, go and progenate. First learn the things, take the initial education, and then increase the population count. That was the thing. But what happened when they went in the river side and they were taking the initial education, and at that time Narada Muni came and he gave the right purpose of the life, and they went. And they went for the practice or in the service of Lord, to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at that time Brahma was, quite sorry. This is Daksha Prajapati. So Brahma gave this duty to Daksha in order to progenate. Daksha means he was expert in sexual life. So he was given this responsibility to get populated this entire world. So his first 10,000 children went. Then again in the second phase, he got to know that Narada, he gave the right education, and so they went. In the second phase, again 100 children. And again 100 children, they went for the initial education, and again Brahma came and he gave the instructions like how your older brothers, they have followed, you should also follow them and attain the perfection. So they also understood and they also went. So then there is a story like Daksha got angry and he, gave curse to Narada Muni and all those things happened. And in this course actually, what happened, like I just miss it is like either Brahma or this Brahma, I think Brahma is the one. So why this, I actually wanted to explain why there is the need of, why, people are very much, vigorously fall for this sexual life. Because During initial phase, progeny was, one of the painful process. Getting a child is a painful process. है ना? A mother knows how much painful it is to give a birth to a child. So nobody wants to involve to get a child. So what happened is just this mere influctuous, you know, what we can say, uh, pleasure, that was inculcated by Brahma in order so that people get entangled in this and they go for the progeny. Then only this world will work, na? If nobody would involve for getting a child, and how this will progress. So I just read in one of the book, this sexual pleasure is the perverted shadow of what actual pleasure is there in spiritual world. First it is perverted, just opposite, and that too shadow of that. So the actual pleasure in spiritual world is something you can't imagine if you are just thinking about the sexual pleasure. So just it is out of the box which I told you. So when we that's why earlier people used to maintain the celibacy during the education time when he is till the age of 20-25, because that improves the retention power, that increase the power of inquiry, that gives the peace of mind. There is one book in which detailed it is. There are things, okay. Then the second point comes is, have either no religious practice or have only some bottled religion due to social pressure or mundane piety or desire to acquire name and fame with no understanding of God or soul. Adopt some yoga practice, going to yoga societies that teaches how to get healthier, to have a better sex like monkeys. They are not interested in learning yama, niyama, pranayam, asana for controlling senses to achieve the meditation on Supreme. In fact, knowledge of Supreme Lord is not taught in such yoga societies. Wear some tulasi neck bead or yoga pants or some t-shirt on nirvana or some slogan on meditation, but hardly live a life of principle as a human being. Patriotism and nationalism is given undue importance with some exclusion of God, due to which sectarian and cleavage in the population of world is brought about. Men fight for no reason, forgetting the temporary nature of the material world. Therefore, the modern universities are the centers of nescience or the spiritual slaughterhouse only. Actually, the main thing is this modern education. What this modern education is leading to, very much, it gives very much fluctuations in the mind. It's not allowing us to focus. It's not allowing us the peace of mind. It's not allowing us the power, have that concentration. And this kind of bewilderment is being given by this modern education, because whatever this activities which we do, which is is written, these activities increase the distraction in our mind. So this is very practical. The one who is involved in all those activities, he can't sit at a single place and study for an hour or two. He has to check a mobile, he has to call a friend, he has to do all kind of nonsense things while in that duration of study. So actually this society, it's not kind of cultivating, this universities, they are not kind of cultivating, rather than they are destroying the strength that we have within us. And actually this is fact. Higher academic education cannot uplift us above the animal, the level at which the animal lives. What we are doing extra, what animal can't do. He is also, eating, mating, feeding. He is also eating. He is also mating. He is also defending. What extra we are doing? We are also doing. Just we are doing in bit improvised way. Well, it's just we should give a thought. Matlab, are we different from animals? We are bit capable. So animals they live in open. So we made a house and we live in that. Animal are also running throughout the day in order to earn, in order to search for the food. We are also running throughout the day and earning money to get the food. Animal also defend for their family. We are also defending for family. What extra we are doing actually? Anything extra? Actually nothing, huh? So this is kind of capturing the mentality within a limited portion and not getting us out for actual improvement of our consciousness. So how we can experience the real freedom that we can do with the help of Krishna consciousness. So what Srila Prabhupada writes in the book called Nectar of Devotion, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness acting in devotional service can develop all good qualities that are generally found in the demigods. On the other hand, a person who is not Krishna consciousness has no good qualities. He may be highly educated from the academic point of view, but in actual field of his activities, he can be seen to be wiser than the animals. Actually, this is very practical. We can see people at good positions, people, those who are earning very, good or very nice amounts, with high salary, their life is kind of frustrated. I've seen many. They drink, they smoke, maximum. They drink, they smoke, or if not that, they try to, people try to spend much of their time on social media in order to, find happiness through that. Because they want to, they want to buy that peace of mind using that money and kind of so much advancement they have. You can see, I saw many people, we have this project of Avantikulam and I just, I was, taking care of that media. And I saw people, put anything, on that, their status and their profile just in order to, attract people, just in order to get the comments, just in order to get their followership, so that will make them happy. I saw, and I read in the news, one of, there is one of the girl, I think, she suicide. Why? Because she was not getting that much of followership on social media. She tried a lot. So people actually whatever they are doing, they are trying to do in order to find the peace of mind and happiness. You agree on that point? You agree on that point, na? So, but actually there is no peace actually. One of the, known person, I just forgot his name, what he told was, I pray that you achieve all your goals of achieving highest of highest desirable job, and you earn as much as you desired, and you get all kind of comforts that you have dreamt of, and then at the last you'll get to know that this is not what will give you happiness. You might have heard of this. People have so much of desire. When normally a person he sees someone who is so much wealthy, and he thinks and there is a desire within himself or herself that I want to become, itna amir banna hai mere ko. But actually, when you come to that stage, then you will get to know, because this stage of richness, it doesn't provide that peace of mind and happiness. So this is the Krishna consciousness which can, help us to have that real freedom through which we can, actually feel that peace of mind and happiness within our life. And people, like many of my friends, मतलब जो लोग कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस में आए but they somehow could not manage and they left, now they are experiencing all these things. Once you are in job and you'll see all around these things. Because in job you are already earning more than 1 lakh and you have all money, all sort of comforts and everything, still you are not happy. Then they'll realize, yes, I was earning for something which is, not providing the peace of mind, which is not providing the actual goal that I had. Actual goal is to be happy. I'll read this one more para, then we'll finish. Krishna consciousness brings forth character. For example, a Krishna consciousness boy, even if he is not very well educated by the university standard, can immediately give up all illicit sex life, gambling, meat eating, and intoxication. Whereas those who are not in Krishna consciousness, although very highly educated, are often drunkard, meat eaters, and sex. ये तो खतरनाक चीज है ना, जो लत बोलते हैं ना, एडिक्शन. It's very difficult for an educated person to get free from the addiction because he is not ready to listen from anyone. वो बोलता है भैया मेरे को बताएगा क्या, पता नहीं है तेरे को, मैं आईटी कानपुर से पढ़ा हूँ, तू मेरे को बताएगा. And even most crimes or criminals, they are educated people only. They go for the crime. Why? Because the person who is not educated, उसको ठीक है कि whatever work he gets he does and he earns the livelihood and stay happy. But the one who is educated, भाई मैं MSc किया हूँ, B.Ed किया हूँ, ये नौकरी करूँगा क्या? स्टैंडर्ड वाली नौकरी चाहिए. And he doesn't get that because he haven't studied in that way. Just he had earned that degree, and what is remaining is nothing to do. All sort of non-regulated activities, crime, corruption, and all these things. So these are practical proof of how a Krishna conscious person become highly developed in good qualities, whereas a person who is not in Krishna consciousness cannot do so. We experience that even a young boy in Krishna consciousness is unattached to cinemas, nightclubs, naked dance shows, restaurant, liquor shop, etc. Yes, this is very practical. The one who is at least practicing nicely for last 2 years also, he can easily make himself unattached of those cinemas. Although however you were indulged in all this watching movies and cinemas during your college first years, but it becomes very practical. You can help out yourself in order to get rid of that. I can tell my example. I was since childhood I was drinking tea. Before going school, breakfast used to what breakfast I used to take was tea and paratha. No, tea and paratha. That was daily routine. 1 glass tea, 250 ml at least, and then 2-3 parathas. And when I was in college also, at morning tea and at 4 or 5 there used to snacks. So I had a cup. Someone gifted me that cup of around more than 300 ml. I used to drink at least 2 cups of the tea, complete filled. I was that much addicted for the tea. And when I came to Krishna consciousness, I got to know that this is not right. Because this is kind of addiction. And just because I came into Krishna consciousness, I could leave that. Otherwise, it was not possible. Classes of 30 minutes, na?
No, bro.
Yes?
45.
45 minutes. So I started at 6:45.
I was just playing
Uh, so I thought it was of 30 minutes, but still I'll stop because. So I'll just complete this para. We experienced that even, okay, this is completed. Yeah, he became completely freed. He saved his valuable time from being extravagantly spent in the way of smoking, drinking, and attending the theatre and dancing. This one more para is remaining, okay. Actually, one more thing is, na, when we are in Krishna consciousness and we are just in Krishna consciousness, what happens is we take all kind of philosophies, we understand things, but we do not try to follow it. Then it's kind of collecting facts. That's it. And you will see people around you only. है After finishing 4th year, you can once you are pass out, you will see the drastic change. Although everyone will get the job, it's never like man, it is a college where everyone will get the job. And the lifestyle, during job time, the person who was practicing nicely and the person who was just merely grasping the facts or just for the name's sake he was practicing, there is a huge difference in the lifestyle. And in the past 3-4 years, you can analyze that also, that he encounters so many problems, and actually then at that time he consults, because we got out in 2019 and it's 2023. It's almost 4 years. Now we're getting calls. I get calls. It's practical. I'm getting calls just because we are a good friend. Otherwise, people, they don't, reveal their heart. People, they don't reveal their heart. Because ego, false ego is, this is the biggest thing you need to control. All the people need help, but they won't ask. Ego clash. So at least you should maintain a good, friendship among yourself, so that in future you can help, your friends. So this one para, last para I would read and I'll finish it up. Silent meditator or sense gratifier. One who is not in Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silently even for half an hour. How many of you have observed this? One who is not Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silently even for an half an hour. मतलब when you are not practicing, you cannot sit. मतलब खाली नहीं बैठ सकते आप. Either you want mobile, either you will be checking WhatsApp, either you will be checking, LinkedIn, Insta, so many things. आप खाली बैठ ही नहीं सकते. That much distraction is there in our mind. You try, you will see. If you are not following, then you can't sit for even a half an hour silently, meditating within our own self. Simple test to analyze your practice. The yoga practitioners claim that by becoming silent, they will realize that they are God. The system may be all right for materialistic person, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? Artificially, they may sit down for so-called meditation, but immediately after their yogic performance, so-called gods will engage themselves in such activities such as illicit sex life, smoking, meat eating, and many other nonsensical things. In the name of yoga, people, they sit for some time and at last they involve in all kind of illicit sex. ऋषिकेश में ऐसी की धंधा चलता है. You go ऋषिकेश, so many yoga centers. ऐसे बिठा देंगे आपको 15-20 मिनट सांस लेना रुका दे, सांस लेना, मतलब they are till that level only. Guru Maharaj once in the lecture he was saying कि okay, if you are practicing also, but you are not growing because you are not practicing in the right way. First, it's very difficult. Yoga practice, yam, asana, niyam, asana, all those things. Yama, niyama and pranayam. This is very difficult. People are till this pranayam only. Yeah, they are not reaching about that, because the stage of uh, stage of pranayam. After that, one more stage. What's that stage after pranayam? I just pratyahara. It's very difficult, because people, yogis, they can stop their breathing for a half an hour. But what they'll do? They go 1 minute, 2 minutes, that's it, 3 minutes, and they are not able to grow after that because they are not practicing in the right way. So artificially they may sit down for so-called meditation, but immediately after their yogic performance, so-called gods will engage themselves again in the such activities as illicit sex life, smoking, meat eating, and many other nonsensical things. By engaging mind and senses in Krishna consciousness, he automatically gives up all this nonsense and develop a high character. The conclusion is that no one can truly have any good qualities if he is lacking Krishna consciousness. This is Youth is a time for the mind, body and spirit to nurture and develop through discipline. This is the only time you can train. You agree na? There is a proper time in which we can train our mind, our body. बुढ़ापे में तो जिम नहीं कर सकते ना. At that time only, है ना. Similarly, this youth is the time where you can train our mind and body and spirit. Unfortunately, today's school teaching nothing of self-control. No courses are offered in ethics, philosophy, and religion. Only recent colleges and school and university have woke up to see the degradation of youth and children and begin to worry about the introducing some courses to discipline them. Abhi aaye recently, you will see these courses and all those things.
Some schools do Gita reading.
Very rare.
But also that reading was not perfect.
It's not like, see, that's different. Perfection is different, but at least following is different.
I mean, like most of the schools do for like academics, like students will take it as academics. They need to pass this.
We have two perspectives of seeing particular this thing. Like something is better than nothing. In that sense, we can praise them. And although yes, day by day they can become perfect. So thank you very much. The main part of this session was how you can manage yourself in order to bring out more efficiency out of you in any field of your work. You can be efficient if you are disciplined. Everyone knows this, but nobody wants to follow this. Being disciplined will give you efficiency in your work, but remaining in discipline is difficult. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.